JJ, it's great to chat with you. I love speaking with filmmakers, especially ones with stunt backgrounds. Um, how do you feel now that you've completed, that second project? It's really such an action-packed film. I really enjoyed it. Look back at it a little bit. Tell us how you feel.
Well, I feel great. Actually, I finished my third project. I just finished Afterburn. I'm dropped my director's cut now with Dave and Sam. But this movie was a super special movie for me, The Killer's Game, because it kind of came out of nowhere. It came to me 10 years ago to be a stunt coordinator. Then it came to me about 3 years ago to be the stunt coordinator's second unit director for DJ Caruso was going to direct it. And then it came to me as a director. So I had seen this evolution of Killer's Game. I'd played the Killer's Game in my head a bunch of times in the last 10 years because I read it a bunch, and it's been in and out. So, when it came to me, we were originally supposed to shoot it in London, and then we changed all that. And we shot the movie during the SAG strike, but we had a waiver. So getting it and getting with James Coyne, the producers are super cool. Andrew Lazar and Steve Richards are super cool, and letting me and James jump in there and put a little bit of my DNA into it. I wanted to put some of my friends in the movie. I wanted to add a bunch of killers because actually there's only 3 killers in the first one, and they were killers that you'd seen in other movies already. Like there's something with dogs, and I was like, well, Wick, we already did that. They did that on Wick already. We can't do that. So bringing like Marco and Scott and my party girls, and bringing my Korean team, Lee Hoon and the Goyang crew from Korea, putting a little bit of my own vibe into it made it a lot of fun. So I'm excited. I was just super excited to get to the helm, and we didn't have a lot of time to do it, so we had to move very quickly.
Well, I bet that familiarity with these people made it a little bit easier, especially if you didn't have that much time. How much fun is that process when you're able to connect with people that know you and you know them, and so basically you can vibe off of each other to get it done. Basically, your vision.
Well, Manny, like if you're going to go somewhere and get into a fight, what are you going to do? You're going to bring all your homies and your homegirls, right? That's it. You just bring the whole crew, bring the gang. And that's what I did. I called everybody. It was during that strike, so everybody was kind of idle. I got really lucky with everyone's availability. And, I kind of knew already, like I wanted to do, like a salsa killer. And so I knew Marco. I thought immediately while I was writing Marco Zaror, I knew I wanted to do Scottish unintelligible assassins. And I knew I was going to make Scott a brother again, even though he should, like Scott should have his own movies. All those guys should have their own movies, but unintelligible Scott, because I worked in Scotland on Fast and Furious 9, and I love them. We filmed in Scotland, but I couldn't understand a word anybody was saying, and they probably couldn't understand a word I was saying either. And it was a lot of fun. And the party girls, there's a couple of stunt sisters that I work with, Lucy and Shayna. And in my youth, I had a lot of experience in going to those type of establishments, so I had a lot of I had a lot of prep in my youth on that. And then, of course, putting Lee Hoon and the Korean stunt team in there. And I've been wanting to work with a Korean stunt team. I was stationed in Korea for a year and a half when I was in the army. So and having done Taekwondo my whole life, I have a love affair with Koreans and all things Korean. So, being able to put that thumbprint on it with my friends was super easy. And there's no way we could have shot this movie in 42 days if I wouldn't have been able to work with these people. If I would have cast other people and had to stunt double them, that would have added another 2 weeks to the filming, just in coverage. So like I really got lucky, and I'm super grateful for it.
Was it challenging to film these different sets of assassins? Because, for example, Botas, you mentioned how much you really enjoyed that particular killer. I loved him; he was my favorite. I'm so glad that I
Which
got.
one? Botas? Botas?
Yes, Botas. Was it challenging to film them? Because each of them, I think, with their unique skills, requires a unique point of view as far as how we're going to see them on screen.
Yeah, I think the technical aspect of shooting fights and car chases is kind of my wheelhouse. In my team, I had Justin Yu and Troy Robinson there. I had an amazing, camera crew. So, like, I shoot action. I've been shooting action for a living for a long time, or being a part of the action. That's the easy part. I mean, I don't want to say easy, but it's not as difficult. The hard part is time. When you're shooting these kind of movies in 42 days, comparable, most of the other movies that are like that are shot in 56 or 60 days. That's a whole different movie. When you have like 10, 12 days, that's a lot of time, of filming. So the tricky part was being able to move quickly, and also make sure that, like, in all honesty, I wanted to shoot I wanted to shoot a love story first that had a train wreck with an action movie. So that's kind of was my goal. So, I think the technical aspect of filming action, no, not difficult. It was the amount of time we had that what made it difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked with some of the biggest franchises in all the films, so I'm assuming you have quite the bit of experience. And how much of that, were your biggest takeaways from all your experience that now you apply to directing, is that you can that maybe are highlighted at the top?
Nice. I would tell you, learning from, watching, because I got to work with some of the greatest masters, and I don't want to stop name dropping, but, some amazing, huge directors, which includes Chad Stahelski and Soderbergh. I won't start, but I will tell you that I learned more from directing first and second time director, or work. Just, I was second unit director and stunt coordinating for first and second time directors, and I learned more from watching their mistakes, what they did wrong, and because I'm not a young director, I'm 57. When you get to a certain age, like when you're young, you have to learn from your own mistakes. That gives you wisdom. When you have wisdom is when you learn from somebody else's mistakes. And I think that's one of the things that getting this opportunity, and I never expected to get the opportunity to direct, but getting this opportunity late in life was a blessing, because now I have the patience and the wisdom to understand what it is. And yeah, you can't help but learn something. Once you see something or do something, you're influenced by it. That's life. Life's the great teacher. So all the experiences that brought you to the road that you're on is what makes you prepared to write it. So yes, on that question.
And one of the things I really wanted to ask you is, what is it going to take for you, being that you worked in stunts for so long, what is it going to take for that part of filmmaking to finally get its recognition at awards, specifically like the Academy Awards, where you guys make up so much of what makes filmmaking great, but there is no acknowledgement for it from the industry?
Yeah. So, I'm 34 years. I've been blessed, and it's been the funnest job I've ever done. Was when I was a stuntman and a second unit director. Directing is actually work, but second unit directing and stunts is a lot of fun. And I've gotten to work with some of the most amazing men and women. It's been the great joy, like I was in the Army before this. So for me, it's like, wow, my second real job. I was in the Army, and then I'm stuntman. Wow. And some of the most creative, intelligent, hardworking people come from that department. All the trailers that you watch for these massive movies, all the big gags, that's done by stunts and second unit. And it's most of the time created by stunts and second unit. Like, that's kind of the way it goes. Now, I know my brothers and sisters really, really want the Oscars, and I want them to get it because they want it. But me personally, I'm not chasing trophies. The juice for me is having fun with my friends, doing some fun things and making a few bucks. That's what the juice is for me. I'm not here to be recognized. In this interview, I'm super honored. Thank you. But for me, it's more about doing the job. But I would support my brothers and sisters 100% in. I know that they want the Oscar, and I hope they get it. I just, I'm not sure what will happen next.
Well, we know how hard you guys work. So, oh, actually, I have time for one more question. What are you enjoying most about directing now, after so long being in front of the camera, maybe, or stunt coordinating, or even doing second unit? What does it feel now to be taking the lead in these films? And are you? I mean, I know it sounds kind of a dumb question, but how much are you enjoying it?
Well, brother, I'll be honest, I didn't really have a plan when I got into this business. I just you know, wanted to make some money and have some fun, and stunts was so much fun. But I tuned in, I chimed in at the same time as my freshman class was like Mike Gunter, Chad Stahelski, Dave Leach, Marcus Young. There's a lot of still very like two really prominent directors, Chad and Dave, that really kind of they didn't start it out for us. That was started in by Hal Needham, Smokey and the Bandit. There's a lot of stunt coordinators and that became directors, but these are the two that really broke the glass ceiling. So I'm just super proud of what they've done and super grateful that I got to do this job. And they kind of led the way. I just watched where they walked in the snow and followed their footsteps. And I would have never gotten Day Shift made if it wasn't for Chad Stahelski. So I owe him for that. And he's a dear friend. We go way back, and I don't know what's going to happen next. I hope more stunt action performers and action people get to direct, because I feel like they're super qualified for it, and it's not a risk. You're betting on a responsible filmmaker if you're betting on someone that's directed a bunch of second unit. The difference is on first unit, you're in a room directing with people talking, and on second unit, you're locking a city up, blowing up cars with 13 cameras and trying not to kill someone while you're going 90 miles an hour. So it breeds a different level of responsibility. But I hope the doors fly wide open, and I hope all my brothers and sisters that want Oscars get them, and I would support them in any way I could.
Well, we love it. We love to see it because we know that people who work in that industry, filmmakers who work in that industry, understand what it takes to do each part of the job because they've done it themselves. So, JJ, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate the Killer's Game, and anytime we get a great action film like that with a variety of types of assassins, I have a lot of fun.
Right on, my brother. Grateful for you. Thanks.
All right, it's nice to meet you, and hopefully we chat again on your third one.
All right, brother. It's coming. Checks in the
Yeah.
mail. All right.